Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Moumita Nandy. I'm a psychologist by profession, and today we are going to talk about men's mental health with Best for Him. So talking about myself, it's been almost 8-9 years that I've been working in clinical psychology field and working with all the different spectrums of mental health, say it be depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorders. And my main focus is mental health awareness, because with awareness we can manage things better. So a lot of projects are coming up wherein we are trying our best to make sure that people are aware of their emotions, their feelings, so that they can understand their traits, and before it becomes a disorder, we can battle it better. So understand, when we talk about mental health and physical health both amalgamated together is health, right? So mental health plays an equal role as physical health. When we talk about mental health, it is your emotional, social and psychological well-being. So we need to understand our emotions, our feelings, the way we think, the way we behave, the way our actions are going ahead. So when we talk about mental health, there are three main criteria we need to understand. One can be biological, one can be life experience, and finally family. So when we talk about family, if there is a history of mental health issues in your family, you are more prone to having those issues yourself. So you have to be more agile about it, be more vigilant, and make sure that you can deal with the stressors better. Now, when we talk about the biological aspect, we are talking about the genes, we are talking about the chemical biochemistry, and when we are talking about life experience, that is when we are dealing with the trauma and abuses we have faced in our life. So when a child is born, so when we talk about an infant goes up to adulthood, in between the young adult, adolescent, the brain is developing. We say that at least till the age of 24 years, the brain develops. The prefrontal cortex takes time, the synaptic prunes develop. So when we are talking about all these things, people accumulate a lot of experiences in their life. So when they accumulate all these experiences, they have different ways of dealing with it, depending on their conditioning, depending on their environment, depending on their state of mind. So amalgamated together, this is how we can talk about mental health. And the next thing that you ask me, how can one take care of your mental health? So mental health care is something that we talk a lot these days. When we talk about skin care, when we talk about taking care of our physical health, mental health regime is equally important. So sleep, eat, exercise, customize it according to your own need. That is something I would definitely want to say. So when we talk about exercise, I see a lot of people on a regular basis, they are not able to exercise. They're not motivated enough to exercise. So I tell them, say we have 24 hours, take out 1 minute. 1 minute in the morning and 1 minute before you go to sleep at night, and you can do some exercise which will give you motivation, which will help you with your self-esteem, which will give you that strength that which will help you become more productive, be able to do other things in your life. Because trust me guys, we go through a lot of stressors, as I told you, more than communicable diseases. Nowadays it is non-communicable diseases that is affecting us a lot. So when we talk about all these non-communicable diseases, it mostly occurs from stressors. So we are going through a lot of stressors in our life on a regular basis. So when we take such efforts, when we journal our thoughts, we are dealing with so many issues in our day-to-day life that we have innumerable thoughts in our mind. So all these innumerable thoughts keep on ruminating in our mind. It becomes a spiral. So when we are writing it down, when we are journaling, the spiral thoughts will not spiral anymore. We will be able to see it better. We will have something in front of us which will give us a better idea to deal with all these issues. There are many more such things that can help us with our mental health self-care. Well, talking about problem when we come to mental health, there is no gender bias. The problem that women will face, even men will face the same problem, correct? So starting from depression, anxiety, different kind of personality issues, sleep issues, and different varieties of anxiety, starting from OCD, starting from different kind of cognitive aspects. So there is no gender bias, as I said, when it comes to men and women. But again, going by the normal stereotype of our society, it becomes very difficult for men to talk about their mental health issues, because it's been conditioned to them from a very young age that they need to man up, they have to be strong, they cannot express their emotion, they are the primary caregiver in the family. Say when people are trained in armed forces or any other such professionals, they are told that they can face any adversities. But I feel it is extremely important for someone to understand this thing, that when we can amalgamate emotional intelligence along with our day-to-day adversities of life, the productivity becomes better. You would be surprised, this is something that I am currently working on. When we talk about abuse, child abuse, men, or rather young boy, are more prone to sexual abuse. That should be something that needs to be taken seriously. There are stories of young girl getting abused in the society, and of course we show a lot of emotions towards them. Any kind of abuse is bad abuse, say it be to a man or a woman, but young boys are more prone to it. They are subjected more to such difficult situations. And when it comes to young boy, like I know this one person who is taking therapeutic interventions under me. He has been molested in his school days again and again by the teachers. But of course, he did not understand how to deal with it, and going and telling your friends would just make you someone who is a stud, who is like, oh my God, okay, the teacher is also getting excited, would want to have some intimacy with you. So from that young age, a very wrong idea is formed. Today, the boy is depressed. The boy is suicidal because he is not able, he is a young adult right now, and he is not able to form a committed relationship. So I think from a very young age, like we try to protect our girl child, like say it be parents, the society, that you're not supposed to go out or not wear such things. I think rather than enforcing all those things only on girls, some importance should be taken on your boy child also. You don't know what your boy child is going through, and the stories can be very scary. So I think it should start from an early age. So as I said, depression is not different for men. There is, as I said, there is no gender bias, correct? There are certain symptoms that can be taken into consideration when there is lack of interest in day-to-day activity. The person is either sleeping more or sleeping less, losing weight or gaining weight. There is a feeling of helplessness, hopelessness, worthlessness, feeling of I cannot do anything more, lack of interest, not able to socialize, isolating yourself. These are certain criteria. Contemplating suicide, have no interest to live anymore. So if you hear the person next to you talking about such things, do not take it lightly. I would request, please help that person to reach out to a mental health professional. I think if it is a clinical depression, it's a serious case of depression, rather than helping yourself, please go ahead and help your friend, your family, whosoever, meet a mental health professional. But if you see that the person is going through sadness being another feeling, emotion, try to hear him out. You would be surprised that active listening can really make a lot of change. Sometimes when you are listening to someone, the other person can have a lot of reinforcement, understanding of himself, what he or she is going through. And the whole idea that someone is listening to you brings a lot of change. Do not try to give advice when someone is speaking to you. When you see that someone is going through such a major turmoil or issue in his or her life, sometimes just listening and showing non-verbal gesture is all you can do to make a change. It can affect anyone to that extent, right? Because when we talk about mental health, when we talk about physical health, if I have a cut, a burn, I can see it. If I have a stomach ache, there are different parameters, protocols where we can get few tests done. But when it comes to mental health, there is no such thing. So if I say that I'm feeling very low today, there will be a lot of people around me trying to say, oh, come on, buck up, how are you feeling low, this, that. Normally, when it comes to a girl, people would say, oh, you're over dramatic or you're oversensitive. But when it comes to a man, it is a very difficult proposition altogether. If a man say, I'm feeling low, I think he will just be laughed at. That is a very scary factor. But honestly, I feel very happy how celebrity men are coming ahead, talking about Michael Phelps, talking about Zayn Malik. Zayn recently talked about his anxiety and his eating disorder. And I think Michael Phelps was also practically talking about his mental health issues and how relaxing it is when you can express, like if today I say it out to the whole world that, yeah, I have depression. Yes, I mean, there are certain days that I will not be able to function. At least you are true to yourself. You are honest to yourself. So when we talk about societal pressure, trust me, it has happened over the period of time that a man is supposed to be strong, a man is supposed to not have any emotions, not cry, not do anything. It has happened and that's where aggression, irritability, frustration, these are the common traits that we see in men. And when a man gets aggressive, then we have 10 different things to say. Oh God, you have anger issues, you should go for anger management. But rather, why not make them express their emotions? Because anger comes out of fear, comes out of guilt, comes out of loneliness. And women have a lot of social group. I wouldn't deny that men don't. But men, when they socialize, they mostly talk about either politics or sports, and that's it. They do not talk about their emotions. Normally, women would do that. So, a man doesn't have a social support at all. So, yeah, it is extremely, extremely disheartening to see how the society is turning up. But as I said, things are changing. All the celebrities coming ahead and encouraging men. Plus, I mean, look at Best for Him. I mean, you guys are coming up with such a great initiative and trying to promote men's mental health. I think we will reach that point where we have a wonderful society where we can talk about men and their emotions. A very important issue that I would want to cover over here, because I work a lot with the LGBTQ plus community, and I'm talking about homosexual men, right? Even they are men, right? But now with the new change in the society, men are coming up with their sexuality, and I give a lot of bonus to homosexual men where they are expressing themselves. They're wearing whatever they want to. But how they are put down by the society, because there is a certain parameter set that men needs to wear this, they cannot wear this color, they cannot behave like this, they cannot talk like this. I think that is making the whole society very rigid. Then how can you expect your man not to be aggressive? If you are setting so many boundaries for your man, unfortunately, there will be a lot of rigidity coming from them. Substance abuse is a type of coping mechanism. We have to understand that, right? If I'm not able to deal with certain emotions, certain feeling, I would look up for some kind of an escape. Substance abuse is not just one form of addiction. There can be sexual addiction. You can have shopping as a form of addiction. There are men who get into gambling. There are men who will eat, like who would use food as a form of addiction, correct? It's not just substance when we are talking about alcohol or any kind of drugs, right? As I said, it is very important nowadays when you look around, be a little more aware of the symptoms that I just mentioned. When you see someone going through a prolonged kind of anxiety, low mood, not able to function, productive, rather than putting him or her down, help that person reach out to a mental health professional or do some active listening. When you do that, you will help that person curve out of this unnecessary emotions. So I have this one patient who has porn addiction, sexual addiction, and he got into a lot of trouble because of that. He's not a bad man. He's a wonderful man. But when we started doing intervention, we got to know that it has all cropped up because of loneliness, because of self-esteem issues. So I think when we are able to address all these finer points, we will definitely be able to curb this abuse, substance, any kind of addiction. When it comes to porn addiction, you have to understand performance is a major thing that is expected from a man, or rather I would say a young boy. Nowadays, around the age of 13 or 14, or rather less than that, men are sexually active, right? What exactly do they know about sex? In our country, we do not even have sex education. What do they know about their sexuality? They have zero idea. So, where will you reach out? Porn. That's the only form of sex education that we have. Now, when we are seeing porn on a regular basis, it helps us feel that, hey, you know what, we can also do this. That is when we reach out or we get into wrong habits, or either sometimes we can attract a lot of sexual partner, which makes us popular amidst our friends, right? So it becomes a habit, it becomes an obsession, and the act becomes like a compulsive behavior. So the treatment, of course, there can be a lot of interventions. There can be interventions where we can do a lot of cognitive therapeutic aspect. We can do a lot of REBT. We can go back to where it started and try to heal one manifestation after the other and see what are the healthy habits we can put alongside. Because it becomes, you are attuned with it. It becomes your coping mechanism. This is how you can deal with things in your life. Again, I think I made it very clear, the whole idea of performance is like a major thing when it comes to men, right? That it's said that you have to give that pleasure to your partner or you are not man enough. Now, just the act, the physical act of sexual intercourse is not everything that encompasses it. There is something called sexual communication. There is no set pattern or book somewhere where we can be like, okay, step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. But because of the societal pressure, alright, and watching porn and stuff, we have that expectation that this is what we can do and give pleasure to our partner. Our partner is a different person. I am a different person. So talking to the partner, doing a lot of role play can help you with this sexual anxiety. There's a couple, I remember that I've been working, and erection was a problem with the man. And he was not able to do it, and every day there was this anxiety that no, I will never be able to do that. So we made it a point, we did a small bit of an experiment, we tried to work on it. We said, okay, we will do a lot of role play and we will use a lot of lubricant and we will try to insert even if it's not erect. And you will be surprised that after a span of 2-3 times, there was proper erection inside the vaginal canal. But that fear went away, that, oh my God, because it was all about the fear that I will not be able to do it. I will not. Once he inserted, he felt relieved that, hey, you know what? Even if it's not erect, I'm able to insert. So that can only happen with communication. So I think communication is the key for everything. We started the talk today by saying men and their mental health. Again, communication. Everywhere there should be communication, where people should have the right to open up and talk about their feelings and their emotions. There can be days where you are low. There can be days where you're feeling elated. There can be days where you're disappointed. That doesn't mean that we are having grudge or anything against anyone. It's our feeling. That's it. So we need to be true to that. So when we talk about a perfect man, we think of all those Greek gods. Extremely muscular, fair, good features. So every man aspires to become like that. You would be surprised, people who do not want to become bodybuilders, they take steroids just to reach that goal. Because for everyone, having a muscular body is the epitome of strength. That is where they ignore their other aspects or their good traits in life. So I would suggest and request everyone to focus on their personal strength. You never know what are the strengths hidden. Do not look at someone and do not think that that is the epitome of everything, because trust me, even for bodybuilders, I have seen how obsessive they are to reach the perfect body structure, because there is no perfect body structure. There's nothing called a perfect body structure at all. So rather focus on your own strength, your own capabilities. You would be surprised how far you are going. Because physical strength is not the only strength. There are other strength also that encompasses your whole self. Well, talking about the pandemic now, honestly speaking, the waves are over. We are back to our normal life, right? So I think one good thing that happened during the pandemic is people got more aware of their mental health. So as I mentioned some time back, taking care of their mental health, mental health self-care regime, that's where when I talk about good food, exercise, socializing, reading, traveling, writing a journal, might be, going ahead and interacting with people who have the same kind of interests, figuring out what are your hobbies. I think these are certain things, because I think the pandemic taught us that work and earning money is not everything. There are other things also in life. So I think focusing on those things will take us a long way. Two very important things that I would ask everyone to do regularly. One, try out some breathing techniques. There are a lot of breathing techniques online, because breath is one important thing that can help us be mindful and relax and also relieve us from our anxiety. And the other thing is journaling your thoughts. Journaling your thoughts help you compartmentalize and think of a solution in a better way. Other than that, I just added all the steps that you can do. You can go out, meet your friends, you can take up a hobby. Taking up a hobby, you know what, like the best thing is, go back to your childhood days and think, what is that one thing that you enjoyed doing the most, right? And you can restart that once again. Breaking the monotony from your normal day-to-day life will help you relieve your anxiety. See, understand one important thing: anxiety, depression, all those things will be a part of your life. You cannot live a life without anxiety. Trust me, then you would get lifeless if you do not have anxiety at all. But to curb that extra anxiety, take out time for yourself. There's a lot of #me time that is going all around nowadays. I think that is very important. When we talk about me time, it can be you're meditating, you're just walking. For me, my best me time would be just sitting in the balcony and staring at the leaves and tree and whatnot. It gives me a lot of mental peace, and you deserve it. So these are certain things that you should definitely try. When it is a problem, it's a persistent problem in your social, occupational, daily life, that you're not able to function for a good amount of time, for weeks, for a month, right? That is where it is very important you reach out, correct? Basic emotions: I'm feeling sad, disappointed today, okay, take a break. But if you are taking a break and you still get back, that is the time it's very important that you reach out, because when it comes to a mental health professional, he or she will help you plan a proper intervention based on your issues. Like if you're having issues with your self-esteem, your confidence, overthinking, whatever it is, you will see that you are able to figure out a better result. Your focus area would be better. You would be able to be more agile and get better results. I would say that embrace yourself. Embrace your mental health. It is your mental health. When I say I have anxiety, I don't say you have anxiety. I said I have anxiety. I have depression. I am disappointed. So it is I. So when I say it's I, you should embrace it. You should accept it, right? Once you accept, you will be able to manage it better. Until and unless you have that acceptance, it would be very, very, very difficult for you to manage things. So important is that no one knows you better than you know yourself. Trust me, you spend 24 hours only with yourself. You can have a spouse, you can have kids, but 24 hours you spend only with yourself. Think about it. So no one knows you better than yourself. So whenever you feel that you are getting overwhelmed with all these emotions and feeling, reach out. Trust me, there is help all around.